We breaking bread, yeah. We breaking bread, yeah. We breaking bread, yeah. One conversation at a time. We breaking bread, yeah. We breaking bread, yeah. We breaking bread, yeah. One conversation at a time.
The Breaking Bread Village.
One conversation at a time.
The Breaking Bread Village.
One conversation at a time.
Hello, thank you guys for coming back again to the Breaking Bread Village. I'm so excited to have this conversation today. We will be talking to a few realtors today in our surrounding community regarding some real estate questions that people may have. I've had a lot of people talk about different things in regards to, buying a home, selling a home. Can you do that right now? And so with that said, I said, well, you know what? I don't have any answers to that, even though I like to answer things sometimes. I don't have any answers to that. So I decided to reach out to actual realtors so they can answer the question. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to bring them on, and then they can go ahead and introduce themselves. So let me bring everybody on first. Welcome, Amber.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for being here. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here. Hey, Rich, how are you?
Good. Thanks, Aaron, for having me on.
Of course, of course. Thank you guys all for being here. I'm really appreciative of it. You know, it's just been a lot of things going on, of course, with COVID. As we know, the pandemic has shook all of us, right? And there's been a lot of questions in regards to buying, selling, what things are allowed right now, what things aren't. I've heard some horror stories from realtors. I've heard some really cool things from realtors. So I'm like, let's just have this conversation and talk about this right now, especially for people who may be, in the market right now. So I'm going to go ahead and let everybody introduce themselves. Amber, if you'd like to go first.
Oh, absolutely. So my name is Amber Yacklin. I am a realtor in the Metro Detroit area. I service a lot of the surrounding suburbs of Detroit and a little bit beyond. I've been a realtor for the last 5 years, and I absolutely love it. And I focus a lot on helping people who are relocating either from one area of Michigan to another or from out of state into Michigan. And I call myself the queen of the burbs.
Okay. All right. Oh, let me go ahead and put your info up. I was trying to do something real quick, but this is Amber's contact information. And I'll put this up again throughout the show. So if anybody wants to contact Amber in the Detroit area, you can do that. So Brandon, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Brandon Lewis, better known as the Dapper Agent. Yes, I coined my own self a nickname. It's one of those things where it was a great idea, but I should have been like Hoodie Man or Sweatshirt Guy or something like that. But
that works for you.
Right. I am a realtor over at Air Reinhardt Realtors. I've been there for 5 years. Definitely one of the better decisions I've made. I was a Dow guy and got tired of going to meetings for the sake of going to meetings. And ever since then, I've got to hang out with the public, and it's been great.
Awesome. Yeah. And it's really a natural. And I can say that about Brandon because I know him, and this is really a natural thing for him. And Rich, and if Rich, after you get through introduce yourself, you can go ahead and share your contact information with me as well. Then I can go ahead and share it with the public as well. But go ahead and introduce yourself for me.
Yeah, I'm Rich Williams with Remax. I'm sort of the newbie, I guess, in the group. You guys have 5 years on me. I am 14 months in.
Awesome.
And Mike, thanks. Yeah, our code word right now is hustle, hustle, hustle. Everything is just moving so quick. I've been in the community for a while, so I love the community, and I'm really enjoying going from a youth pastor to Remax agent. Just a different type of ministry, a different type of work as well. And again, just helping people. So really do love it as like these two.
Yes, and I will put a plug out here. He has an amazing wife that I've known forever. She is awesome and just salt of the earth. She's amazing. So just want to plug that in there. Well, again, thank you guys all for coming on. So I just want to kind of get right to it because there is a lot of things going on right now. And the first question that I have for you guys is, what unique issues has this coronavirus presented to the real estate industry? Because, at first we were locked down here in Michigan where we couldn't go anywhere. And, I heard a lot of different things in regards to the housing industry. So, Amber, if you kind of want to take it first, just kind of some things that you've had with your experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. So we definitely were in a lot of unknown in March and like late March. I remember coming home actually from a real estate coaching conference that day, and like the whole world was shutting down. But I would say one of the biggest unique challenges in the Metro Detroit area is that houses are still moving very, very quickly. We're having multiple offer situations. There's not a lot of inventory. So what coronavirus has brought, or what COVID kind of precautions has brought to us, is we're no longer doing overlapping showings. So for anybody who's thinking about selling their house, we used to let people put in a showing, 2 agents, 3 agents show at the same exact time. One, it shows how much interest you have in the house, and you always want to create demand. So it was such a great tool that we used to create that demand. However, now we sometimes can allow more than 4 people. Now it's not mandated to have 4 people in, but we try to keep it to about 4 people. Make sure we've got our masks on. Don't get too close, which, I'm not like an inappropriate realtor, so we're not getting that close anyways when we're inside of a house, right? But we're doing a lot less, like, don't touch the light switches, like make sure your light switch is already on. But the overlapping showings is probably one of the most unique issues I think that coronavirus has brought.
Okay. All right. So overlapping, just so I know the terminology, that's when you could have, what does that mean? Overlapping
Yeah,
showing.
so if I want to go show you a house, Brandon and Rich could also be showing their clients the house at the same exact time. So we might all show up with our clients at the same time, and that used to be allowed. And not only was it allowed, it kind of helped you out as a buyer's agent, because you could say, look how much demand this house has. It gave you a really good feel for the house. Now we have to be very careful about staying within our appointment times. And when you have a house that's really hot, here's the other problem. Let's say a house goes up on a Friday, I can't take you there till Saturday, or there might not be any showings at all because someone's booked up all the time slots throughout the weekend. So it just creates some scheduling issues.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you. Brandon, you're next. But Rich, I want to say I just got a text message from Ayana Haynes that says you just sold their house for them.
Yes, we did.
So you're doing okay to be a newbie. You're doing all right. So congratulations on that. Brandon, tell me some challenges that you've had.
I think the biggest challenge was once we got locked down, it was, how do we show the house? Technology ended up being your best friend during that time period. So being able to Zoom or FaceTime with clients just to keep that conversation going, and even to being able to do that with lenders, appraisers, inspectors, title people, it definitely, it stretched us. That's definitely for sure. But I think the thing that Corona has done in not just our industry, but every industry, it kind of moved a lot of things that we knew were coming along a lot faster. To be able to FaceTime. What was that?
Give me an example of what you mean by that.
Well, Midland, we live over here in Dow country. So it's not unnormal for me to FaceTime a client who lives in Texas or Indianapolis or something like that and show them a home, and they pretty much buy the home sight unseen. So with us, we kind of had a little bit of a jump on it, but that became a not just, people who don't live in a state, that end up being everybody and anybody. So I think a lot of the technology, those usage of being able to communicate with all the parties end up being probably one of the biggest challenges, but also one of the biggest helps.
Okay. And that's so interesting. I think people across the board have been saying that there are a lot of things that we speculated was possible or doable, like working from home or, different things of that nature. And now coronavirus, in a positive note, has shown us there are a lot of things that we can do that were outside of what we considered the normal. So, which is good. So, Rich, what type of unique experiences have you had?
Well, being a little bit newer, I didn't have a lot of the skills needed right away So one of it for me was trying to sell a house during Corona without being able to get in there. So unique situation is having your buyer or your sellers, taking photos and trying to teach them how to take a photo, how to make sure the toilet seat is down, make sure things are taken off,
Oh, I didn't
like
know.
all of those little
Please
things
put
that
the
the
toilet
buyer
seat
knows.
down, please. Please.
No animals, no cats, clean up a little. But then you had to
Preach,
get all
Pastor.
those photos dumped into, a drive online and then create a video. So to do that, so you're sorting through all of that. So it became unique to encourage them to stage the house, to set things up the right way. It really took a lot of power. Right? Maybe that's not the right. A lot of the leadership away from myself, where I was doing that, and gave it over to them, trusting them to get that stuff to us. So that made it really unique, I think, to try to sell during that 3 months of March, April, and May. So
Okay.
very
Okay.
hard.
That's very interesting. I guess I didn't even think about that because I know that you guys as realtors, you guys do all kind of small things to make sure the house looks, attractive, and someone wants to buy it, and for it to be able to be sold, and those type of things, to be able to tell them, okay, make sure you do that. That, I mean, was that nerve wracking at all, or could it have been a little bit challenging? A
It
bit.
was several times going back to say we need another picture.
That's
We
what I was.
needed.
Okay.
So it takes a lot longer. So to put a listing together where you could maybe do that in 2 days took a week, because you were
Oh.
trying to get a better picture or a unique picture from a particular angle. So without walking through a house too, it's hard to have a feel for the house. So to describe it was more difficult, so that you're giving away as well. So that whole process, your job a lot of times was given over to them, and then you kind of just guided them through it. So
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, I didn't even think about that part. That part would have been, interesting for sure. Okay. So my next question for you guys is, our homes closing on time? And these questions, just so you know, these are questions that people have asked me, that I told them we were doing this. So these are questions that people have. So you guys answer them, however you feel. But our homes still closing on time with all this whole pandemic going on?
In my experience down here, we are definitely still not only closing homes on time, but these lenders, I mean, if you have a rock star lender in your bucket, like, treat them like gold, because they are getting stuff done in sometimes 30 days, which is unheard of. But we have to do that in order to
Okay.
be competitive. It's as for all the unique challenges we faced from March on, it did not stop people from buying houses. People were really introduced to looking at houses on virtual tours, buying houses sight unseen, doing inspections without being at the inspections, trusting their inspector and their reports. And so keeping people on their timeline has always been our job, and keeping people competitive has always been our job. We just had to use better technology in order to do it. So what I will say about our home still closing on time is this, because I do have a really good lender friend here, and we sometimes do a radio show together on 97.1 FM. And we were just talking about this. Don't beat up your lender if you have to extend closing. For some reason, some realtors get really worked up about this, and it's because our clients do. And honestly, there's trying to close a very big loan. Things come up last minute. If you've got to extend things a week, I promise you it's not the end of the world. Like, give your lenders some grace, and in turn give us some grace, because we'd have nothing to do with the loan.
Right. 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 Okay. Okay. Anybody else want to add to that?
I would say one of the things that I began doing too was to call the lender before I even began, just to judge what's their time frame. What are they running at? Are they running at 30 days, 40 days, 50 days? And then the other thing that you guys probably ran into is inspections and appraisals, trying to get those going. So there's all these moving parts that are taking place. And as the real estate agent, you have got to have your finger kind of on each one, making sure they're done at the right time, in the right sequence even, so that when you get to that closing date, everything is right and it goes smoothly. So, yeah.
Okay. Because one of the things that people were saying was that we were in a recession and homes weren't, selling and people weren't buying right now. So sounds like you guys are saying in your areas that wasn't the case. Is
Well,
that what
I'll
I'm
say
hearing?
this. Yeah, I mean, I'll say that to that effect, it's this. Any good agent out there knows that it's about your time frame, and any good agent out there knows it's not about us. It's not about just getting a sale. It's about getting you where you need to go when you need to be there. That has always been very most important. So during COVID, that did halt some buyers from buying, and that was okay. They waited until things opened up a little bit, till they were able to be at
Sure.
inspections. For other people, it just depends on what your life situation is. If you've got a job, or you're relocating, or you're moving because of school starting, there's some people who they had to go and move forward. And I mean, but as far as our homes buying, selling, closing, our people buying, I'm having my best year of real estate in 5 years in the middle of a pandemic.
Oh
So
wow. Oh wow. Awesome. That's good. I mean, that's definitely different than what has been the narrative out there. So that's amazing. Sometimes you have to kind of go to the source to find out the actual information. So okay, awesome. Well, someone asked a question: can we close our property electronically? And it sounds like you guys are saying yes. Brandon?
I'd say absolutely yes. Uh, the one thing that we learned from COVID, there were people signing electronically. There were people signing from outside of the title companies, with us not being able to go in, which was
Right.
absolutely hilarious because you'd see 9, 10 realtors hanging out by their cars, making sure nothing went left at I don't even want to call it the table, at the car, at the dashboard. Um,
Right.
but no, things were still moving. Most title companies are making they still need the wet signature. So, but there are a lot of people that are still closing electronically.
Okay. So I want to ask each one of you guys, do you guys have any tips for first time home buyers? Because right now is the time where people are saying, one side of it is, don't buy a home right now. And then some people are saying, if you want to buy a home, this is the time. This is the moment right now. So do you guys have any tips for first time home buyers? Rich
yeah.
is like,
Oh, I'll be glad to go. My first tip: give me a call.
give them a call.
But I think the one of the biggest thing is be realistic about your budget. Make sure that you are prepared to buy a home, that you have your finances in order, that you're pre-approved. And because the market is as difficult it is, or quick, and all of those things, is that you have to be ready to react. So when a house comes on and I call you, we got to go. So you almost want to beat the listing agent there, so that you're
Okay.
the first one through the door. So it's just the way it is right now. So be prompt, be ready to move, communicate well. Those are some of the tips I would say.
Okay. Awesome. Amber?
Yeah, I work with a ton of first-time home buyers in this area. Is it a good time to buy a house? And a lot of people want to know this. They're like, I should wait till the houses go down. It's kind of like what comes first, the chicken or the egg. The interest rates are
Okay.
so low that your buying power is so high. So you can afford more house now. So when you say like, is it the right time to buy? That really depends on your personal situation. Are you done paying rent? Do you want to, is it price most important? Is location most important? Is your drive time most important? There's so many other things that go into buying a house than just buying a house.
Okay.
And in my opinion, I'm seeing a lot of first time home buyers who are different from like maybe like my age group and up, where we had starter homes and then moved into bigger homes. These first time home buyers, they are smart, they are savvy, they have been working in the workforce for a long time, they've saved up a lot of down payment. They're buying their forever home almost right off the bat, which
Oh,
does
okay.
give them a little bit more leverage. So it's really, and also make sure you are discussing your concerns with your realtor. Share with me what scares you, because I can't help you if you're not communicating with me. So we just always keep up in a very open line of communication. I might be blunt, I might tell you how it is, I might give you really hard direction, but they know right off the bat that's coming from a place of love, because they need to make a decision now in this market.
Okay. Give me an example of what you mean by something that scares you in regards to what?
So for example, let's say home inspections. This is really
Okay.
a daunting thing for a lot of first-time home buyers to go through. Number one, you've never bought a home before. You don't even know what you're looking for. Number two, this guy comes in whose job is literally to tear this house apart and tell you every bad thing about it. So what went from warm and fuzzy at the showing to like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna like get married and raise my kids here, is suddenly like, I'm buying a money pit, right? Like it's terrifying. And then also like, who's on your counsel? Is it mom and dad like in your ear? Is it an aunt? Is somebody else bringing finances to the table that I need to know about to get into the fold? Like, we don't want to wait till the last minute to get everybody on the council in the house. But so let's say we're at a
Gotcha.
home inspection. Something very common that comes up in Michigan homes is mold in the attic. They call it antimicrobial growth or whatever we want to say on the report. The reason this is common in Michigan is because of our fluctuations of weather. We go from very hot to very cold. We have moisture in the air. And if you don't have a roof with proper ventilation, it's going to grow. Here's why
Okay.
it's not scary. One, it's very common. Two, your attic air space is not what flows through your house. So it's not like finding mold in the walls or in the basement or somewhere where like the air is going through the vents, and it's very easily remediated. So at that time, we either can go to the seller and ask them to fix it, or we ask for concessions, which is essentially just money back for the buyer to fix it post close or after they closed on their house. So don't get freaked out. So if I tell you like, don't be freaked out by that, you have to know and trust that I'm not just trying to sell you a crappy house just to get a deal.
Right.
Like that's not something to be freaked out about. Now, if the foundation's crumbling in on itself, I'm like, let's go.
No, yes. Never mind. Back to the drawing board. Okay, Brandon, do you have any tips for first-time home buyers?
I think my biggest tip is having that conversation from the jump. What are you looking for? What's your situation? Just getting you everything prepared from the beginning, because homes are moving fast, like both of them said. I need you to come aboard because this thing's going to start. Things are going to move really, really fast. Also need you to have your big boy pants on or your big girl pants on. You may miss out on a house or two with multiple offers and things like that, because I know, you come in there and you fall in love and you've already put up the Christmas tree and you've got all these ideas and then it doesn't go through. And, it's just kind of one of those, it's a business, and that's how we have to look at it.
Okay.
Erin, if I could share one more tip too for the first-time home buyers, don't be afraid to reach out to someone, even if you're a year or two out from the buying decision. Even if you think you're not going to make a move for a couple of years, getting that process started now is a lot easier than saying, oh my gosh, I want to move in 2 months, and then having low inventory to work with and trying, because I might have gone through this 100 times, but as soon as I start telling you, go get your pre-approval, get me my exclusive buyer agency contract, here's a form that I need for the state of Michigan, all of a sudden it's overwhelming for you. And I want you to have that time to be able to process.
That's good. That's a great tip. Thank you. And then I think about, credit and about saving, as Rich said, it's a lot of things in regards to credit that people don't think about, and how it really can hurt you or help you. And that's something that a lot of times some people don't even learn that as children or, as a young adult about credit and the importance of that. Do you guys ever suggest for somebody to go to like a class or something like that in regards to budget or credit before they, come back to you?
Yeah, I've worked with clients.
I would definitely say like, oh, go ahead, Rich.
A lot of the lenders have that education that they will just kind of hand over, and you kind of walk with them through that. That's kind of an important first step. If no one has taught you about credit and you need to rebuild it. I actually had a client who didn't have a credit score, and it was like, that's going to be difficult. So, they were thinking 2 months out, they're 6 to a year now out. Kind of letting them know that that's okay. We'll work on this. We'll work on it together. And I think with the first-time home buyers that don't know some of those things or haven't been educated, that's our biggest role, I think, with them, is educating them with the process, the things that they can do now to prepare themselves 12 months from now to present a really strong buyer to a seller. So.
Okay. Awesome. So another question that someone has, was, is there a proper etiquette right now for viewing a home in person? So do you guys have any things you want to add to that, Brandon? You really, did you think of something there?
The biggest thing right now is we can't touch anything. So
Oh,
there's a
okay.
form that needs to be signed before we go inside the house. They were not having so many children, or the caravan, is like I like to call it sometimes with our Rich knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get the first time home buyers, which I understand. So they have mom and dad and his mom and dad and uncle so and so who works construction and a neighbor. Next thing you know, there's 15 people in the house and everyone has an opinion. Uh, so I think those are the biggest things, are just keeping everyone safe, keeping our distance. It's a little weird because I'm a high fiver, I'm a hugger, I'm a shaker, I want
Sure.
to play with the kids, all of those type of things. So uh, you're just trying to stay professional and keep everyone safe.
Yeah, because I was going to ask that, because that's really a big part of being a realtor, right? Is that personal connection, for people to feel like they can trust you and kind of feel connected to you. So I was curious about that. So does anybody else have any proper etiquette tips
So
or?
this is a big one that I don't think people even think about, being proper etiquette, but I know we all have to use the bathroom sometimes. You cannot use a bathroom while you're in somebody's home.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
you
Yeah.
are going to either have to leave and go to the gas station. You're going to have to make sure you go beforehand. But especially now with COVID, it was already very faux pas before. And here's the reason why. This is not your home. You do not own it. We are supposed to be in view of you the whole time. That is why you have to have a licensed realtor with you to view a home. And that's why they don't just give you the lockbox to go in by yourself. So you are not allowed to be in a locked room by yourself. And at home inspections, sometimes with mom and dad or other people are around, they're just kind of sitting there and they might go, oh, I have to go use the bathroom. And it's like with COVID, especially, big time no. Not a lot of people in the house. Do not use the facilities. I'm very sorry for your bladder. You have to take that off.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Rich.
I don't really have any other than what they shared.
Okay.
I mean, we all are wearing our masks like we're called to. I like to bring Clorox wipes just to get the doors as I leave, which I think is a really nice thing to do. But no, I can't think of anything else.
Are there Clorox wipes in Midland? Because I'm coming
Well,
there are.
I have a connection with my wife.
Don't tell too much. Don't tell too much. No,
Oh,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We have some every once in a while, and then it's bare again. But we've had quite a bit of
That's
PPE
the
up here.
hottest closing gift of 2020. Everybody gets a Clorox wipe if you work with me. So.
Oh, that's
wow. That's awesome. Yeah, because you can't find it anywhere sometimes. So let's see. Oh, I thought this was an interesting question. That the tenant or seller is refusing to allow any showings based on health concerns. So what do we do in regards to that? So COVID-19 is happening right now. People are precautious and really kind of taking extra steps, understandably. And if they don't, they have some concerns in regards to people coming into their home because they may feel like they may be sick or they're compromised. How do you guys deal with that?
Go ahead, Brandon.
Go ahead, Amber.
My biggest thing that was when we brought out the FaceTime. That was the beginning of the, hey, Mister, I'm gonna too much, but allow them to be able to see the home.
Okay, and that's when you use the technology. If a person doesn't, so wonder if somebody. Go ahead, Amber. You want to add something to that?
Virtual tours became even more normal than they had been. They were already a really great tool that we used to kind of stand out, and now they become more of a norm, which if anything great came out of COVID, it really was our clients understanding how to use technology to the best of our ability, and knowing that like we didn't have to physically be there to still be holding the show down from behind the scenes, right? So what people think a realtor is sometimes it's just like a door turner, like we're just like go unlock doors, but really all the magic happens behind the scenes that we do. But as far as tenants go, one, if you already have a virtual showing, that's going to be huge. Two, you need to look at your leasing agreement that you have with your tenant, because they do have rights as people who are living in the house. I have a background in property management. It was something that I left very quickly to do real estate. It was not my thing whatsoever. And this is the reason why there's so much like liability. So before you think you're just going to go become an investor and play landlord, make sure that you know, have a lawyer look over your contracts, because these are the types of things that you need to know. Where in your lease does it say when you're ready to sell your house that they have to leave? How much notice can you give? If they're absolutely refusing during COVID times, and this is strange times, you might think about taking your house off the market, waiting until they leave, cleaning the house very well, and showing a vacant house, which will show better a lot of the times when you're dealing in a rental situation.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Cool. Let's see. All right. I have a lot of questions here, but well, I'll just ask this. You guys have any interesting stories that have taken place during this pandemic that you guys want to share? Brandon, you kind of lit up. Do you have an interesting story that happened during the pandemic?
Not during the pandemic.
Or whenever. We can take that off.
I guess it's 9:30, so I can tell my story. I'll tell the PG-13 version of it. Showing a house to a young couple that I had been working with for a while. We make it to the house a little bit early. There's no car in the driveway, no nothing. We walk around on the main floor for a while. We head upstairs. All the bedroom doors are closed. We opened each door, and the last door, there was a gentleman getting to know himself very well.
While you're showing the house? Oh my God.
While we were showing,
oh my goodness.
he had headphones on. He jumped. We jumped. We ran out of the house. He actually ended up calling later. He's like, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "No, we're sorry too. It's fine." So those are one of my favorite couples. Every time we see each other or we talk, they always bring that situation up. So
you get the memo, I guess.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, can anybody top that? Any interesting stories? Amber or Rich?
I mean, I found a dead crispy frog in a fireplace today, and that does not top that story right there. So.
Oh wow. Okay. No, that doesn't. Brandon, we should have saved you to the end. Rich, do you have any interesting stories?
I would this year I have one that's I think unique with what's happening in the market, where we have sellers concerned about finding the house of their dreams after they sell their home, and their fear of being homeless even. So you had mentioned the Ayana and Leonard earlier. So I did sell their house, and that was their concern. Are they going to be homeless? And we went in on a house that they really liked. It felt real good, but we didn't get it. And there was going to be one coming up just across the street, same neighborhood, so it fit a lot of the things that they wanted. And so we waited a week. You know, the house is sold now, and we're really desperate to find something. And like I said, you have to be ready to move. And we actually did meet the listing agent there before she got there. We walked in the house, and their son went downstairs, and here's this ping pong table. And that's what he had said. When we get a new house, I want a ping pong table.
Oh.
So, you walk down there, ping pong table, a lot of the other things that they wanted were there, and just seeing like it just line up, sort of their faith just come alive. And this is what God had destined for us, this beautiful home. So we wrote the offer, and of course we put in the ping pong table and they took it. So you don't have to move the ping pong table out. Their little guy's gonna have one, so we already started breaking it in too. So yeah,
good.
Those are just great moments that I'll cherish for forever. So
No, that's amazing. I love when things just kind of line up, that's always a beautiful thing. So thank you for sharing that. So let me see. My next question is, someone had a question regarding, can the manager or landlord refuse to rent to someone because they have children? So I think I know the answers to that, but I'm going to let you guys answer that. Amber, did you want to take that?
Yeah, so there's a lot of fair housing laws that are in effect for not only buying a house, but for leasing. Again, this was something that you had to disclose right away. And familial status is one of the things that is protected by the fair housing laws. Now, if you are in a senior complex, or if you are specifically owning a building that is supposed to be for 55 plus, in that case, the obvious answer is yes, if it's got
Sure.
those kind of parameters around it. But no, when you are dealing with a landlord, they're supposed to not look at a lot of different things like age, sex, race,
Disability.
all those disabilities. Like, I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but basically, like, just be a good human and like
Exactly.
rent to someone. Like, can you pay your rent or no? And there's a lot of
Yes.
different factors to look at that, right? So on the flip side of that, you got to make sure that you have sometimes up to 3 pay stubs to prove your income. You might have to show bank statements. With renting a house, it's a little bit different. You might have to fill out different types of applications, things of that nature. So it's really a case by case basis. But for the most part, they can't refuse just because you have kids, but they can often find different ways to refuse.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. My next question is, what are some tips for people who have experienced discrimination? So I did like side work for an agency out of Saginaw where I would go in with another young lady at different times and try to, rent from someone, right? Or talk to someone about a house. And, of course, they didn't know we knew each other. And she would go in at one time. She would sometimes be white, and I happened to be black. So we would have different stories, but kind of close stories, as far as pay and things of that nature. And we would have to see if they would tell me the same thing as they would tell her. So that was so fun. It was like being, undercover, it was really, it was really fun. And it was also very interesting because there were oftentimes right here in this, in this city where they would tell me something totally different than they would tell her. So what are some tips that you guys have for people who have experienced discrimination? And I know it's hard to prove it, but sometimes you just kind of know, right? Or feel it very strongly. So, Brandon, do you have any things to add to that? Like, what are some tips for people who may have experienced discrimination?
This one always kind of hurts my heart a little bit, just because the facts and the information have been out about this, over the last 50, 60 years
And
about
people don't know.
exactly about
Yeah.
lending, redlining, and we can get into a whole lot of different things. I think the biggest one that I think as a agent that always kind of hurts me is telling people to take their pictures down. That one always kind of gets me a little bit. Yes, you're
Yes.
supposed to just depersonalize the house, but I know my reasoning behind it. And that for some odd reason, it kind of pulls at the heartstrings a little bit, just because I know there's, a demographic, especially around Midland, that doesn't have to do that. So.
Yeah, no, it's a real thing. I know a couple people who have had to take down pictures, especially if they are in a interracial relationship, or if they are brown skin, black skin, or sexual orientation, is different than what we consider quote unquote normal. So it's really disheartening. Rich, did you have anything, any tips about that for people who have experienced that? Thank you, Brandon.
I would definitely think of looking for an advocate as well. Document those things. Get someone that needs to speak. For me, doing the Black Lives Matter, oh my goodness, protests that went on, listening to those guys, I really felt called to be more of an advocate as a white male. So if it needs another white male to talk to a white male about what they're doing that's wrong, so maybe as just an advocate to do my part. So maybe that would be a good way to change some of those things.
Okay, okay. And Amber, did you have anything to add to that? Thank you, Rich.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting when you talk about depersonalizing, because that is something that I talk about heavily in my listing appointments as well, and it's not for those same reasons. So that does hurt my heart too. But one of the best things about these kind of conversations is it opens my eyes to the fact that, Brandon, you have to go and tell people that for a different reason, and it's going to be something that I make sure that I'm more aware of too going forward. But Aaron, what you used to do, I actually have had people shop me. It's called secret shopping.
Oh, really? Yes.
When I was leasing apartments in Farmington Hills, we would have people come in with like little cameras, and then they would rate
Oh,
you.
I didn't have cameras, but
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, so we went through training that was very intense. Now, I will tell you, if you feel like you've been discriminated by an agent, we are licensed through the state of Michigan. So you could go and file an ethics claim with the board. Laura is like the license and agency. Don't make me actually remember what it's called. But it's LARA. Okay. I'm just here to sell houses. But
yeah, right.
you can go there. I would start with the state broker of whatever brokerage they're at. And a lot of people don't know this, but every brokerage has a state broker. For example, I'm with EXP. I have a state broker. His name is Scott Bartlett or Cheryl Yost, who are the state brokers. Remax has a different state broker, right? Like, so Brandon, I'm sorry, I completely missed which brokerage you're with, but like you have different state brokers. They work for the whole state of Michigan.
He's with Aaron Reinhardt.
I'm sorry. Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the first place you want to go, is just kind of like start higher up. Here's the thing, whether it's intentional or not doesn't matter anymore. It is 2020. So if you cannot get it together as an agent, then you do not deserve to carry a license in the state of Michigan. And there's more than enough of us here who want to represent people who are actually looking to buy and sell houses, who need the help and the guidance, and who do not care about all the fair housing laws that we just spoke about, because you cannot discriminate against those things. You are literally getting a license stating that you will not do that.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, and don't you want to close out? I mean, don't you want to make, don't you want to fit, you know what I'm saying? Like, get your money. Like, what's the deal? And do you guys suggest, you know how sometimes they tell women when they go to, a mechanic to take, a male with them so that they don't get, people don't assume that because they're a woman, they don't know anything. Do you guys encourage anybody to maybe bring someone with them as, like you said, Rich, like an advocate or someone that may know a little bit more with them? I mean, would you encourage that?
I personally wouldn't. I would say that's borderlining just doing the same exact thing where you are adding to that discrimination, right? Like, I can't assume that because my first time home buyer is a woman that she's going to bring her dad along, or that she has a dad, right? Like, we seem to think that we are just going to assume that we know what people go through, because of the vast majority of people we go through may have been women who bring their dad to buy a house. But that doesn't mean that every woman is bringing their dad to buy a house.
Right,
so
right.
I was raised by a very strong woman, and she's bought plenty of houses. I don't see women that way. So for me, that's an absolute no. Wouldn't even cross my mind.
Okay. Yeah, I just wondered, in regards to advocacy, because sometimes people don't know what their rights are. People don't know, kind of what's out there for them. What is the possibility?
So let me say this. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I just wouldn't go automatically assuming and recommending it. Now, I always say, who's your counsel? Who do you go to make big decisions? Feel free to bring them along. I'm totally fine with that. Let's bring everybody to the table who's going to help you make the right decision for you.
Sure.
I'm here to help guide you through the real estate process, but there might be some emotional questions like that you're asking. In that regard too, there are some things we can't answer as realtors, like that I get questions all the time, at least, being that in Metro Detroit, there's so many different neighborhoods and areas. People might say, well, do a lot of families live here? I can't answer that question. Even if I happen to be Google and know how many families live there, that's not something I'm able to answer for you. And my suggestion is you do some due diligence, you Google. I love when people drive around the neighborhood that you love at different times of the day. Go on the weekends, go in the evenings, go during the week.
That's a good tip. Okay.
Go in the morning. Go see what you need to go see. But I'm just here to do a real estate transaction. So
Okay.
whether Joe Schmo lives next door or Grandma Mary, like I don't know and I don't care.
Well, since you said that, Amber, and you guys chime in too, what are some questions that you guys cannot answer? Because I'm curious, because I've heard a few in regards to, like, I think when people, and correct me if I'm wrong, if someone says, is there a lot of crime here? That's a question that I've been told that you guys can't ask. What are some other answer? What are some other questions that you guys can answer, Rich?
It's like, is this a safe neighborhood? Those are a lot of good questions. How are the schools? A lot of those things can be checked out, and like you said, Google is they have all the information that you really need. So
those two questions you cannot give any type of input about. Okay. Great.
Because it's a very
subjective,
arbitrary and subjective question. What is safe? What is not safe, right? And that's when you start going down a rabbit hole that's not a good place to go. Don't go there. Agents, new agents beware, especially. And sometimes as a new agent, though, we want to seem very knowledgeable and helpful. And we want to start proving ourselves. So we want to act like we know everything around the area. But there's just those questions cannot, and it's very simple to say, those are fair housing laws questions that cannot be asked. But I encourage you to do your due diligence.
Okay. And see, I wouldn't be good at that because I would go, yeah, just go. I would give hints by my face. So I give my face. I have no poker face. Brandon, do you have any other questions that you guys can't answer?
I always tell everybody, I push everyone in Midland to the Midland Business Alliance. All the information you'll ever need about neighborhoods and parks and all of that jazz, it's all right there. You don't want to get in. My rule is don't end up in court.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you want to know where to have a really good cocktail, I'm happy to show you to the best restaurant.
Yes, that type of stuff you guys can't answer. Okay, that's good. That's really good information because
all day.
Those are really good questions that people naturally would ask. If they have children, they want to know. Is this a safe neighborhood, like you said? But it is very relative, and it can lead you different directions. So, and people ask them with different intentions. So, I understand that. So, well, we are close to wrapping up, but I just want to kind of let each person kind of give me some closing remarks for, like I said, even for people who are trying to sell right now, buy right now, just some closing words for anybody that's in the market, anything. So, Rich, I'm going to let you go first.
All right. I guess one of the things I would say, at least in the Midland area, Brandon probably agree, our inventory is so low, historically low. So if you're looking to sell a house, get it cleaned, make it look nice. You don't have to do a whole lot more than that. And then open it up to showings and then let people come through. And they've been selling in 2 to 4 days most of the time.
Really?
So it's pretty incredible.
Wow.
If there's anything really else, buyers just, we talked about that, just have to be ready to fire and kind of pull the trigger on that house. So.
And you and Rich, I don't have your information right here, but in front of me, I'm sorry. But if you want to tell how people can contact you.
Sure. I thought I texted it to you. Did it not come through?
Did you? Oh, you know what? I didn't. Sorry.
I will. My email is really easy. So my name is Rich Williams. So it's just richwill@remax.net. So Rich will do it. So
Rich will do. Oh, look at that. That's clever.
I'm not dapper, but I am willing. So.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, please reach out to Rich. Really nice guy. Like I said, his wife is awesome and such a good support system. So that's amazing. Brandon, did you have any closing words? Oh, closing. Get it?
I say exactly what Rich said. Exactly what Rich said. Be ready, sellers. If you are thinking about selling, it's a great time to sell. I think the last 30 days in Midland, the average home was selling in 12 days. So that's from the prettiest house that sold in hours to that one decently sketchy home that's been on for a couple of years. So no, great time. And you can reach me at blewis@arhouse.com. Or I'm all over the internet doing something at some point, sometime.
Awesome. And Brandon, please reach out to him. He's a really great family man. Wonderful wife, beautiful kids, well known in the community. So reach out to him as well. And Miss Amber, if you had any closing words for us.
Yes. So I don't want sellers to misconstrue the market for meaning that they can price their house however they want. So definitely pricing your house correctly for the market. Buyers are savvy. They're not just buying anything just because there's low inventory. Like, I don't walk into Nordstrom and just buy an ugly sweater because there's only 3 sweaters left, right? I wait till the right one comes out. So
exactly.
Please don't misconstrue what a seller's market means. Make sure you have a professional come in to price your house. And for sale by owners, you guys are killing it. Don't be at the showings. Do not be at the inspections. You need to give buyers a chance to see their house and actually purchase it from you. And I've helped a lot of for sale by owners in the area. So if you're in the Metro Detroit area and you are going for sale by owner, and for some reason it doesn't work out for you, that is something that I have a lot of experience with all around the Metro Detroit area, from Macomb to South Lyon and back again. There's my husband. Welcome to the real world of COVID. Thank you very much. He is not in sales. But you can find me.
That's so funny.
You can find me on Instagram at Buy the Burbs. It's BUY, like Buy the Burbs. Or you can also email me at amber@buytheburbs.com. I am always happy to answer any questions you guys have. It is very low pressure with me. I only want you to work with me if you love me, because I only want to work with you if I love you too. So if you have any questions about the Metro Detroit area real estate market, let me know. I also help new agents through coaching. So that is just something that's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, Rich. Yeah, look at this connection.
Here's the thing. I feel like I've paid enough stupid tax along the way in 5 years, and I just want to share that wisdom and knowledge to help somebody kind of maybe skip a step of stupid tax and get to a better place in their business faster. So that's just something that is really near to me. If that is something that you need help with and you're an entrepreneur or a realtor in the area, call me.
No, that's what it's all about, helping each other out, And, I'm just meeting Amber. She was recommended to me by Fawn, who I met through a whole nother channel. But Fawn is also a realtor, and she said you were the guru of realty. So she also said that you trained her. So thank you guys. I just really appreciate every one of you guys being on here today. This is really a good conversation. I think it was something that needed to be had, because a lot of people are asking questions and aren't really asking the realtors. They're just talking amongst each other and speculating. So we need to go ahead and start going to the source, right, and figure out what's going on. And so people can go ahead and look into buying homes, because there are a lot of people who want to buy, but they're afraid to right now because COVID, this whole COVID thing has them so scared. Said this is not a good time because we're in a recession. But, you just never know. So I encourage everyone to reach out to a realtor and ask those questions that you have, and just take the chance and see. You never know. You could be in your new home in 2 days. You just never know. So take the chance and go ahead and try something new. So again, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all for being on here today, and I wish you guys a great evening.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Awesome. That was a great conversation. I'm so happy that they were all able to come on today and talk about this. If you leave with nothing else, go ahead and take that chance. You could have a new home next month, in a couple months, or next year, whenever it's right for you. But go ahead and ask those questions and reach out to them, and they can answer them for you. So everyone watching today, I appreciate you guys for being here for another conversation. We will heal the world one conversation at a time. Thanks so much. Have a great one. Bye.